Welcome back to Analytical Strategy. Today, we are going to be discussing 3 new advantage ideas that production could potentially implement into Survivor. Now, I know what you were thinking, there are already too many advantages and different types of advantages in the game of Survivor, to which I would agree with you 100%. So I am the type of viewer that prefers one's gameplay to rely on the social and strategic interpersonal relationships and interactions, rather than a complete reliance on advantages to get to the end. However, it is evident that there is probably no slowing down from the production team trying to add new concepts and twists into Survivor, and this is to keep the game modern and fresh to the viewers. And if that is the case, I think the following 3 ideas I am going to discuss could be added to Survivor, without there being huge rifts in the game. If these advantages were to come up, I would find each of them interesting and not too far-fetched or overpowered to be added into the game. I also just really enjoy thinking of new ideas and concepts for Survivor and breaking the game down into detail, so this was a really fun topic to think about. So just before we get stuck into these advantages, if you are enjoying these discussions and videos, to please show your support by subscribing to the channel. This channel is not possible without my audience interaction, so if you are enjoying the content, it would really mean a lot if you could take a second out of your day to hit that subscribe button and to stay tuned for a range of unique and interesting discussions to come out multiple times a week. Thanks for everyone for watching and for your support, and without further ado, let's get into these advantage ideas. So firstly, we're going to be discussing a new concept for a hidden immunity idol, and that is called ally idol. And that is that the idol that you have found can only be played on someone else and not for yourself. I'm actually surprised this twist on the standard immunity idol has not entered the game yet, as it really does fit modern Survivor, the big move era, and focuses heavily on the notion of trust and your ability to work socially within your alliance. This particular idol can also be transferable, so you can give it to someone else in the hope that they do play it for you, but you cannot force them to. So if you were to pass the idol onto someone else, it really relies on that trust factor, on whether they will actually play it for you or whether they will hold onto it for themselves. This is an idol that needs to be used in conjunction with another player, so your social game needs to be on point for it to be used on yourself and to be used effectively. Alternatively, you could still keep it to yourself to protect an ally out of the blue at Tribal, such as Jeremy using his standard idol on Steven in Survivor Cambodia, with Steven having no idea it was occurring. It still cemented trust in that duo even though Steven wasn't a part of the plan going into it. I think there was a perfect time for this concept to be introduced into Survivor, and that was within Ghost Island, with Eric's idol from Survivor Micronesia coming back into the game, which I believe Wendell found. As Eric gave this necklace to someone else and got voted off, it fit the theme of this idol absolutely perfectly, so it was a real shame we didn't get to see it then. Overall, I still think it is a pretty fun idea. It adds a nice layer to the standard idol, and it isn't too overpowered that it will cause major shifts in the way the game is played today. So up next, we're going to be talking about a potential advantage called trading tribes, otherwise known as the tribe swap advantage. This is a very specific advantage that may not even get played if found, but it can assist a lot of players that have left the game due to simple bad luck of the tribe swap twist. The tribe swap advantage can only be used during the situations where Jeff says, drop your buffs, we are switching things up. And if you are unhappy with where you land, you can use the tribe swap advantage to switch to an alternate tribe of your choice. And then that tribe must draw rocks to see which player you are switching with. There are a lot of contestants that have been swap screwed in Survivor, being switched onto a tribe where they are in the minority and the remaining contestants have absolutely no interest in swaying from their original tribe. And this can cause the contestants' demise. This advantage may just assist you when your game is going downhill purely due to bad luck. I would have this as the advantage to be found during the marooning on day 1, rather than say the legacy advantage. As the legacy advantage is transferable when you get voted out of the game, it almost guarantees that someone will have an additional immunity in the final 6 in addition to the immunity necklace. So there are already limited options to go home without even talking about hidden immunity idols, and this can increase the likelihood of people leaving by default. Switching it up from the legacy advantage to the tribe swap advantage minimizes this risk from occurring, but there is also a big risk in using the trading tribes advantage, as the other tribe has to draw rocks for who you switch with, and this is to keep it fair. You may end up switching with a person that you wanted to be aligned with. But not just that, it also shows people early on in the game that you are capable of finding these advantages, which in Survivor puts a huge target on you early. So there is a lot of risk versus reward associated with this advantage, but I think it is a good possibility to potentially potentially assist in some contestants being swap screwed in the game. Not to mention, this would also be great TV to see someone use this advantage for the wrong person to pick the rock, and therefore they get swap screwed twice in the space of a few minutes. Sometimes the survivor gods just take over and get the final say. And the final advantage idea I'm going to be discussing is called Choose Your Conclusion, where the advantage holder has to openly choose between a final 2 or final 3 that get to pitch their case to the jury. Now, I think the perfect time for this to be introduced into the game would be during the merge feast, where one person sits out of the feast, but they are required to make a huge decision based on the people left in the game, and they would reveal it to the remainder of the tribe at the end of the feast. If it was brought in any later, it would probably be too powerful or make too many shifts late in the game. I think all contestants should be aware of any huge shifts or game changes in Survivor to make it as fair as possible. For example, I think the final 4 fire-making twist in Heroes vs Healers vs Hustlers, or the final 2 decision in Micronesia, should have been announced earlier than they were so the players could adjust their games accordingly. The decision to choose your conclusion would be the result of the projection of how that castaway thought the remainder of the game would play out. Would the contestants play the odds and always select a final 3, as it gives them an increased chance to get to the end? Or would they select a final 2, as there would be one less person to beat at the end if they were to get there? It would also depend on who you thought you would be up against if you were to get that deep in the game. If it was a final 3, for example, and one of them would definitely beat you, then you may wish for it to be a final 2 so you can get another opportunity to get them out of the game. There are a lot of factors, and it is very situational and would depend highly on the individual who sits out at the merge feast. It would also make for great TV if someone selected a final 2 and they were the person voted out at the final 3. Those are the types of moments that production lives for. But overall, I don't think it would be too drastic of an advantage if it was introduced when the 2 tribes merged. If it was a final 4 or 5 twist, for example, then I think it would be far too late for something like this to be introduced. As said, it doesn't give enough notice for the players to adjust their games to accommodate for surprise twists or advantages. What do you all think of these 3 advantages? Do you think that they would make good additions to the show, or should production just ease off on new twists for a few seasons? Please let me know in the comments. As always, thanks a bunch for watching my content, and remember, if you are enjoying it, to please subscribe for a range of new videos coming very, very soon. This is Analytical Strategy, and we are signing out once again, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.